Hi everybody, so we're going to get out of this. We're going to make a quick video. This was the binary compounds that we looked at in our notes, and so we have two elements in every either formula and you write the name, or if we gave you the name, you're writing the formula. So don't forget your steps. If we give you the formula, step 1, name the metal. Step 2, name the nonmetal. If I give you the name, like these blue compounds over here, and you got to get to the formula. Step 1, ions. Step 2, crisscross, not the signs. Step 3, rewrite it. And step 4, reduce if you can. So I remember the letters I, C, and R. I, ions. C, crisscross. R is reduce. So I, C, R is what we're going to use in this case. And we did these in yesterday in notes. That still continues throughout this chapter. Then we gave you some practice problems to do, and we gave you the answers to those. And now we're on this one where we're looking at, in this case, transition metals. So I'm just going to type that up here, where transition metals, we said yesterday, are in the D block. And we have two other fancy, okay, goodness gracious, we have two other metals. They are not in the D block, they're in the P block, and we want to look at SN, which I know is tin. And I want to look at lead, which we all know, we think of peanut butter. These guys have to have also Roman numerals. So please pause the video now and write down these 5 steps, and then write this example, and we're going to use this. Okay, so now I have to go from the formula to the name. So step 1, write the name of the metal. And so CO is in the D block, and it's cobalt. Step 2, write the name of the nonmetal ending in "ide." I don't know why I have that. Let's put I, oxide for oxygen. Step 3, check to see if it's a transition metal, letter tin. So this is a transition metal. Step 4, we're going to find the charge on this ion. And we're going to write that charge, whatever it's going to be. It's a Roman numeral. It's got to go in parentheses here. So if I see a transition metal, I usually put a parentheses and leave it blank. And then I write the nonmetal. Think about your puzzle pieces. You're always going to know the rightmost side of the compound. I can look on the periodic table, and oxygen is -2. So if I had to draw an oxide puzzle piece, it would look like this, right? And it would say oxide at the bottom. Well, how many of these oxides do we have? We actually have 3 of them. How do I know that? I look at this. This told us how many when we did the puzzle piece lab. So let's kind of copy and let's paste 3 of them. And it goes a little bit faster when I can see what's actually going on. If this does this correctly, I would be impressed. Okay, so you have 3 of those. How many cobalts do you have? Look here, you have 2. So we're going to draw 2 cobalts. And we're trying to get this Roman numeral. We're trying to figure out what's the charge on one of these cobalts. So I have 2 of them. So I have 2 of these pieces. Looks like that would be 1 piece. Oh, look at this. This is starting, you know I'm not the greatest artist in the world. 2 pieces. This would be cobalt. And what would be the charge on each one? Well, we said the total positive and the total negative have to equal each other. This is -6. This must be +6. So this is -6. This is +6. What does each puzzle piece represent for a charge? +3. Our Roman numeral goes here. It is not for the total charge. It is only for the charge on 1 cobalt. So we have a cobalt-3 oxide here. Simply, you can just take and do boxes. You would have 3 -2 oxygens, right? 3 -2. There's my 3 boxes, and there's my -2 in each. I have 2 for the cobalt, and I would just draw 2 big boxes. Oh, -6 +6. Divide. That first box is the Roman numeral that you're going to put in parentheses. because this gets tiresome trying to figure that out and draw those all the time. All right, well, let's keep practicing. And then we're going to throw in a polyatomic ion, a green sheet ion. So if I look here, I have Fe and I have Cl. Step 1, write the name. I say, is it a transition metal or lead or tin? Yep, it's a transition metal, D block. Put that parentheses. Now I'm going to draw my puzzle pieces. Well, I know the charge of the rightmost ion. I know this is a -1. How many of these chlorides do I have? I have 2 of them. They're each -1. How many irons do you have? You're only getting 1 of them. Because there's a 1 here we don't write. So let's draw this one big box. What should this charge be so they equal 0? Should be a +2. Here's your Roman numeral. Let's look again here. We're going to get a little fancy here with our polyatomic ions. And so with polyatomic ions, that's on your green sheet. And I really want you to take a look at that. And what was good in years past, we'd make Chem 1 kids have to memorize the polyatomic ions. Now we give it to you. But how do you know you have one? Well, I know there's a dividing line here where this is the metal. And this is going to be the anion or the negative ion side. So I'm going to look at my green sheet and I'm going to try to find SO3, but you have all these boxes. So here's a little piece of advice. With the green sheet, always go to the -1 box first. Let's not put side, let's put box. And see if you can find this. And you can't. So then the second box to go to would be -2 box. And you'll find this. This is called sulfite. Not sulfate, because sulfate is SO4. Sulfite is a SO3. All right, so now we're ready to go ahead and draw our puzzle pieces. Well, oh, no, I didn't want to do that, kiddos. Now I'm going to say, okay, so what is the charge on that fancy sulfite? It's a -2. How many sulfates are there, guys? There's only 1. So you're going to draw 1 box, and it's a -2. How many lead boxes should I draw? 1. That should be a +2 because they're going to equal 0. There's your Roman numeral. Now I want you to practice these 2. I have the answers already typed out here. So go ahead and practice these 2. Pause the video, do your problems, and then come back to them. You know what the answers are, but then play the video and you can see what I'm doing. I write the step of my metal name. I have to look in the -2 box here. I looked in -1, I couldn't find CO3. I looked in the -2 box, I find CO3, and that's called carbonate. This just says you have 3 of them. Putting a parentheses around it says you have 3 carbonate ions. Okay, so what is the charge on that? So we said -2. How many boxes should I draw? This tells me the boxes here. So boxes, I need 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. They're each -2. Total negative charge is -6. All right, come on this side. You have 2 cobalts. What should these be? Let's say if this is -6 and this should be +6, divide this into 2 boxes. They're each +3. That first box tells you the Roman numeral. Now let's do this one. We have the rightmost side. I know this is -2 off the periodic table. How many sulfurs do you have? I just have 1, so I do 1 box. How many tins do you have? 1 box. Oh, they have to equal 0. So this is +2. That's my Roman numeral that I would have. I want you to keep going through those. I'm going to show the steps, and then that's going to be it. I'll show you what else they were working on in class. But pause your video and let's go through the steps. So we said ions, crisscross, reduce. So as I look through this, I wrote my ions, I crisscrossed them, and I can see I can divide them out. Notice when you're bringing across that 2, I had to use a parentheses around the SO4, the sulfate, and I put the 2 outside. I brought this 2 down, and I saw that there were 2 2s, and I can divide them and reduce. And there's your copper 2 sulfate. So now we're taking the words and we're going into a formula. So ICR, ions, crisscross, reduce. Ions, remember, always go to the -1 box. Crisscross, bring that 1 down, bring the 3 across. So we're going to go Fe, there's a 1 here. Oh, there's a 3 coming outside, so I do that. Keep my NO3 right there because that's nitrate. You can't change that. Don't touch that 3. That has to stay with the NO3 because that's what nitrate is. Can we reduce? No, we're done. And then lastly, we must always remember these 2 transition metals, silver and zinc. They are forever. +1 for silver and +2 for zinc. I just think of the letters of the alphabet. A comes first. Z would be at the other end. This is my first letter of the alphabet. This is going to be my last, but I'll just put a +2 there. That's how I never forget their charges. We practiced this in your packet of notes, so I want you to go through, and I want you to go ahead and put your ion charges here. And then I want you to crisscross, and then I want you to reduce if you have to. You cannot reduce these. Think of this as one CrO4 as one thing because that 1 is coming outside. It's actually sitting right there. Then you would go this way. We're going to write K as potassium. And then this CHCO2, oh my, this would be underneath your green sheet in the -1 column, written as that. That is known as acetate. So I would just write its last name. Potassium is the K. Acetate is the second ion or the last name. So practice those. And then you had your transition metals. So we had Cu is +2. SO4 -2 is sulfate. Oh, these add up to equal 0. But if you crisscross, so ions, crisscross, these can be reduced. You can divide these by 2. So our final answer, 1 Cu and 1 SO4. This is +1. This is -2. And you had this example with your puzzle pieces. Crisscross, no reduce. You just leave it alone. They didn't put a 2 here. Zinc, I know, is 2 according to the alphabet. Ag is 1, right up here, and zinc is 2. Now we're going to go backwards with these. Iron, chloride. Chlorine is -1. You have 2 of them, so draw these puzzle pieces. 2 puzzle pieces. -1, -1. 1 Fe. This should be +2. There's your Roman numeral. PbSO3. Pb is lead. SO3 is sulfite. 1 sulfite. 1 puzzle piece. It is -2. 1 lead. It should be +2. There's your Roman numeral. So that's what you're going to practice with those. We also have in our homework packet I gave you, we're going to do worksheet 2 and 3. Cross out the ion pairs. If you have them crossed out and you can't do them, I think it was like 4, 6, and 8 on that worksheet 2. Don't do them. But there are quite a few for you to practice on. Let's see where you get tomorrow. If you didn't get anywhere, you have this video. And that is the end of all of this for now. So this should help out all of our Chem 1 students so that they know how to do that. This is the answers that go to that transition metal one, which is this sheet right here. So you've got answers to worksheet 4 in your note packet. I didn't put the answers to worksheet 3, at least I don't think I did. So we'll check up on you tomorrow. You guys have a good day. If you need to pause the videos, do so.